Oh, thank you. What is up, everybody? What is up? Welcome to our live stream. Sorry, I had to get a little water. It has been a crazy, crazy week. God, I know that it's Tuesday and it feels like I didn't say day yesterday. But today, biggest thing we're going to talk about, we'll get to it here in a minute, is should you buy a house in 2024? That question has come up to me about 7 times in the last probably 2 weeks. But most recently, my niece, which we'll talk about that story in a minute, was asking me some questions. And I'll give you the advice I gave her. She's, I think, 24-ish years old. But I'll give you the advice I gave her on how to think about that. And so I did want to talk also about our video. Go check out our Airbnb video. It's kind of funny. We had crazy comments. A lot of Airbnb advocates that don't want to prove it, that they're not maybe crushing it. But I kind of talked about Shelby Church, this YouTube creator, us being creators and peers and all. I thought I would do her a favor and kind of walk through the math in her Airbnb. But go check that out. We had an initial video, and then she updated her all of her math, which doesn't really make sense. But so I posted a second video on that. Check that out. We'll drop a link in the comments here for you there. All right. I made a post and I said, would you rather be poor at 20 or 70, right? At what point in your life would you rather have no money at all? And the comments were interesting. Obviously, I think most people overwhelmingly said, what would be worse? Which of the two ages would be worse? It would definitely be 70, not 20. But one of the things that a lot of people said that I thought was interesting was being broke at 20 is a rite of passage. And I was thinking about that for my own kids and how I do really want them to have that experience. Because I went to college very, very broke and had no money. And I remember when I started buying these books and sold them online. And it's kind of actually a crazy story. So I had my girlfriend at the time, my wife today. It's probably the year 2000. Amazon hadn't yet totally dominated the book market. So there were these other bookstores online and that were selling books. A-Books, a Libris, like some of these old sites. And the internet, like, got to go back to, like, this is where I'm 1,000 years old, that's white hair. But like 1999, when I went to college, you could submit anything you wanted via email, like your paper to your professor could be submitted via email, but no professor would accept it. So like email was a thing, but yet wasn't being just used all the time. And so I don't know what my point to that part was, Cole, but so I'm going in there, I have no money, and I'm dead broke in college, and I have $20, and I bought $20 worth of books from this bookstore that was right across from ASU, not the regular ASU bookstore. Anyway, I go online, I sell those books for like $150. So I turn $20 to $150. I come in there the next day, they're selling them for $1 each. And what I'm doing, ASU wouldn't use the brand new textbooks. So like as soon as it got old, they would use a brand new book for that year, and the next year, I one edition back, they would not use it. They would sell that for $1. Well, some community college in Iowa or wherever would pick that book up and they would charge $32 and just teach it one back to save their people money. So I could buy it for $1, sell it for $32. So I started this online book business. Ultimately, the idea became easy textbooks or cheaptextbooks.com. Those are what the really brilliant people did. I didn't do that. I wasn't that smart at 20 years old. But so I started buying these books, and I bought the entire ASU bookstore out of them. So at one point I had a warehouse of 250,000 books and like my own Dewey Decimal System. And but the point was I had the experience of being so poor. So when I turned that $20 to $150 and ultimately this little book empire that almost just took down Bezos, I mean, I'm sure he was so worried about it. That experience, right, of not having the money was what drove me. And so I was thinking about where it's worse to be poor. It's definitely at 70, but being poor at 20 might be one of the greatest assets you could possibly have. So as we get going today, I'm going to answer as many comments as I can. If you want to throw those in the chat, I'm happy to, I'll answer as many as I can, and we'll come to that. So I'd love your thoughts, right? Put in the comments, where do you think it's worth? Do you agree that 70 is definitely worse, which was the overwhelming answer? And what other insights did you have? Don't you think that being broke at 20 is something that is a necessary part of the game? The other one I thought was really interesting was there's been a lot of talk in my office, and for a long time, some of my partners, or we've had people maybe leave the company and go somewhere else, to people that drive Lamborghinis or Ferraris or whatever. And so I made a joke to all the companies. I'm like, if you can show me that actually more people will be drawn to our company, like significantly more, and that helps the companies grow, I'm happy to go drive a yellow Lamborghini or whatever, the kids think's the coolest thing, as long as we can make money with it, right? I have no problem buying the car. I don't personally want one for myself. It doesn't really get me excited. But if that's what can get a bunch of people, recruits, to believe that I have money, not the single family rental properties and the portfolio and the millions of square feet of commercial, like, I wouldn't, no, that's not impressive. It's just having a green Lamborghini that I can go get. So I'd be curious. I'd love to hear your thoughts on does the employer's car, if you're in your 20s and early 30s, does the employer's car impact your decision to join that company? Does it change the way you think? And is it positive or negative? Is it, hey, the owner must have lots of money because he's got a red Ferrari, and so if I go work there, I too can get a red Ferrari? Is that like the thinking? I don't know. This is a debate in my office. It's been this debate for the last 5 to 10 years, and I'm very curious that I ever had a forum to get the answer to that. I'm always joined here by Cole. Cole's here. Cole, do you want to flip around the camera? You want to jump in here, Cole?
Flip around the whole computer.
No, don't flip around. I think that's going to be too much for them. But Cole's here.
What's up?
That's if you go back to Howard Stern, and Cole doesn't probably even know who that is, but Baba Booey, Gary, his producer, that is Baba Booey. And so we are all working on a nickname. A side part of today that Cole doesn't know is we're working on the nickname for Cole. So if whoever gets the nickname that we use, I got to tell you what, we've got a ton of swag from Be Wealthy we'll send your way. But we're looking for Cole's nickname. It's got to really have legs to it. It's got to really have legs to it. So I want to go to I got to share. I want to go to these comments. Go back to the comments. I'm going to share my screen on the what car. So here's the actual post. What impact does the vehicle have? The vehicle someone drives have on you. Be honest on this one. There's no judgment in either direction. If you were looking to join an organization, you want me to, is that better?
Yeah.
Is that better? Look now.
There's a delay? Perfect.
Okay. And so Cole almost freaked out right there. They didn't have the right screen for you guys. I'm really sorry. If you were looking to join an organization, the top person drove or owned a Ferrari, Rolls-Royce, Lamborghini, how would it impact your decision to join them instead of them driving a Honda Camry or mid-level SUV? Does it subconsciously make you want to join them because they come across wealthy or something to aspire? Is it a negative and you're pushed away? And do you care either way? So again, I'd love your thoughts in the chat here, but I have to say I won some football player business because I had a relationship and a luxury vehicle that had enough room for them, both shallow and practical. That's pretty good. And I actually really agree with that. Positive impact. I know what it takes to secure a Lamborghini. If I see somebody driving one, I know they're likely dialed in business-wise, and it's a positive first impression. Of course, I knew someone would be renting or responding to money or complete fraud. But if we're just talking about impressions, when you see the high-end or low-end ride someone you're looking to partner with in some way, I'd say good impression with a high-end car, no impression they had a lower-end car. I think that's a really well thought out. That's well thought out. I like that. Actually, Chater, whom I know very, very well, depends if they own it or if they're making payments. I had an agent in my company that drove expensive car. The payments were more than, I'm not impressed because I knew. All right. Interesting. Let me go. Let me go to the chat. Cole? No, we got thoughts here. Robin, the car doesn't influence me because I'm not into cars, but I do care about the employer's shoes. Quality shoes indicate success. Gosh, I want to know where I would fall in Robin's shoe. I wear Cole Hand high-top sneakers. I don't know that I'm going to win the shoe game on that. I don't know if I'm going to win that. Kyle, couldn't care less. Too many people buy stuff they don't need, impress people they don't like. That is very well said. People do spend a lot of money to impress people that don't even know them. Someone telling me they grow my business. I do expect them to be driving a decent vehicle. All right, I like the honesty, Tori. If they drive a Lamborghini, if we drive a Lamborghini, she would not be impressed. I wonder why they drove their weekend car to a business meeting. I think their ego's too big and probably not up to work with them. Their car is in ill repair. I agree with that. Interesting. Jay Wright. What I wonder what messages send to your clients or business partners besides what I consider to be obvious, and you should be driving a well-maintained, reliable vehicle. Have you ever thought, geez, I'm paying that person, they're driving a Ferrari. Yeah, Mike, one interesting thought, I will tell you my first mentor in CPA, Wayne Bradford, he passed away a number of years ago. I spoke at his funeral, and he had a huge impact on my career. He had so many incredible things. But one of the things is he had a different car for the weekend and he had a different car for the office. And he always drove like a 7-year-old, I think it was a Camaro or something, right? 7-year-old Camaro, red, kind of like an older sports car. But he had the S-Class Mercedes on the weekends. And so it was really interesting to see that take. And he said, Brett, if I can't drive it to the office because when you're charging people to do accounting, if they see you drive a car, it's that expensive, they're going to believe that I'm overcharging them. And so he always went that route. And so I think depending on your business, I think to Jay's point, I think you might think you're overpaying in certain. Now, in certain things, I kind of want my professional having a nice car because I'm like, wow, maybe they do better. It doesn't impact, I don't think that much about it. I agree with the comment above where if Tori's comment, if it's ill repair or a little odd, that's a totally different case. All right. So I'm getting differing opinions. Oh, Greg Tran. For my first impression, I'm going to be a point against. Of course, just 1 point and holistic approach. And nowadays, I'm occasionally smart enough to dig beyond the gut reaction. But for 1 point, it's a difference in cultural ideals. It's like the age-old realtor question, what should I drive? I've decided that if a potential client sees me negatively because I don't drive a luxury car, they're probably not the person I'm going to work with anyways. Interesting. Yeah, Maggie. That's exactly where I think, right? Like probably, I would have been impressed. I'll say from my perspective in this answer, I probably would have been impressed. It would have caused me to join their business, but I probably would have been impressed. Cole is very passionate about this and thinks overwhelmingly it's a positive. And
there are no downsides.
There are no downsides, and the louder the color, the better. The louder the color, the more effective it is. Ferrari or pickup trucks? I'd go with a pickup guy any day. It's from the Instagrams. Gary did drive a Ford Taurus for absolutely forever. He drove, not a Taurus, but a Taurus. He did drive that. Actually, it was the executives that made him get rid of it or asked him to get rid of it. They're like, hey, dude, you're telling people how to be successful and you're driving a Taurus. He just does not, that is not his thing. Cars are definitely not his jam. Laura Jo Kotzen says, rent versus own. I have a high wealth individual who is happy with renting, trying to push them over the fence to earn equity. We're going to get to kind of that conversation on the entry level, but I think it's an interesting conversation of luxury, like actually choosing to rent because you want to. And that's not totally uncommon in these super ultra high net worth individual that might want to move to different houses more often and move from like a luxury penthouse to a luxury penthouse, maybe in a different city. I kind of get it. I think Cardone has done that in Miami pretty well. Grant Cardone, he rents in that high rise and rents a few places. I don't believe, Cole, do you know, does Grant Cardone own, I have to go to the Googles, and does Grant Cardone own a residence that he actually lives in at all during the year?
I think this came out again recently with the Ante buy.
Oh, the Ante.
Another campaign.
And for a luxury property, I don't know that's. I don't think that's a terrible. I don't think it's a terrible decision, but I do think it's super. It's interesting in the luxury space. I'd love to see your thoughts. Do you agree with that? If you're ultra high net worth and you want to be and move around more, hey, I want to be in this condo here, but if I don't like this building, I'll move. I could see that because their cost to trade in and out of a 5 to 15 or $20 million house, just more expensive. If you're going to move, you may not, may make it easier. And it might just be a function of ease, right? Get in a completely turnkey building where they're even changing out light bulbs and stuff. Be really interesting. All right, I want to see a few more. If you have any different of opinions, we'll move on. It's a great question. I'm enjoying the answers. For me, it's one of the least important factors in whether I'd work with someone. Their character matters, no doubt, no question. Scott, naturally the answers differ based upon the perception experience. It depends. I've met many people who have more than one of these cars, and they're beautiful, giving, inspiring people. I also know people with one or think they deserve one who are not inspiring, quite the opposite. Totally. So it depends on the car, shoved in your face, suggesting, if you done the right way, anything can be bad. Money doesn't really change a lot. I think it just magnifies who you already were, right? If you're a super giving person and you get a lot more money, you're just like a more giving person, right? If you were kind of a jerk before, it's probably kind of the same. Let's see. Oh, I would have passed Robin with the Cole hands. Yep, it's I wear the same. Today's my only day Cole. I've switched. I wear my black ones, but I only have the two pair. It's much rather be poor at 20. Yeah, that is no question. So I want to give you my take on. Oh, I got to click the wrong window. So the big question on should you buy a house in 2024, and I'm coming at this from a 24-year-old's perspective. I was at dinner last night with a really good friend of mine and his team. They came out to a conference here in Phoenix, and we went to dinner. And one of the questions they asked me was, hey, would you recommend buying a house right now? They happen to be in the real estate space. They're a real estate agent. And I said, I'm going to give you the answer that I gave to my niece. Because the niece called me and like, hey, Uncle Brett is now the time to buy. She just got a great job, got out of college. What do you think the market's going to do next year? So first, I have no clue what the market will do next year, and no one does. Anyone that tells you they know exactly what's going to happen. I know what's happening in Phoenix, and I can see the next 90 days because I get great data from a company called the Cromford Report, and I might pull that up in a minute. But so I can see those trends. And so the first thing I said was, how long are you going to live in the home? And my answer was, if you're not going to live in the home for at least 5 years right now, and this could change if rates change in the future or one way or the other. I said, if you're not going to live there 5 years, I wouldn't do it. Because in your life may change a lot in 5 years, and you have some significant costs trading in and out of houses. And I don't know how much appreciation you might see in the next 5 years. If you're more than 5 years or you think it might be a great rental property, then I think it makes a ton of sense to take a look at that. And so I went over and I was trying to explain how I think, and how to look at the market. So I'm coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. We've got the largest market in the country. In terms that in one county, largest market meaning the most transactions in the country occur in Maricopa County. And so, hold on, I'm logging. I got to do one thing here. It is harder than you could possibly imagine to speak, Cole, and drive the Tetranet in real time. And so, let me get this.
You got a comment. Pro car.
Pro car. I like the honesty. Cole, I think we have a lot of honesty. So this has been out. He's got this Cromford index, and it measures the health of the market. So it's a score between 0 and it can go infinitely high because it's measuring the strength of the market. So there wouldn't be a limit on how hot a market could get. But a score of 100 means that there's an equal footing between buyer and seller. So if we're negotiating on a $300,000 house, we both have the same negotiating power in that transaction. And if that Cromford score, the higher it goes, like if it's a score of 300 or 500, it would very much favor the seller. So the seller's got all the power. They got 85 offers. The buyer, if they're not cash or over asking, they're not going to get it. On the other side of it, if the score is like in the 30s and 40s, that means the market's doing it's terrible, and so that buyers are in very high demand. And so a $300,000 house, you might see an offer of $200,000 from a buyer. And so they've been tracking this data forever. But I think you go back to when did the market really heat up last time? Because I think when you think about the real estate market, you could learn so much by what happened in the past, because history tends to repeat itself over and over and over again. So if you look at what happened here, the market 2003, this is when I first started investing in real estate, would have been 2001. So if you go, let's go in real, I'm gonna do a better job here. So 2001, the market's kind of, ebbing and flowing. Again, over 100 prices slowly rise. Under 100 prices are gonna slowly fall. And so you go to 2002, what happened here? Okay, and then this is where things start getting a little crazy. 03, all of this is great news here. I mean, properties are going up. And then 2004, it just goes crazy, right? You get up here at the high of 2005. What's interesting, if you think back, for those, I got licensed in 2005, so I've been doing the real estate business forever. And if you go back to that time, you could have sold property. Like I sold my primary residence right around in here, up in Scottsdale, and bought where I'm at down in Chandler now. And so if you look, you could have even got on all of 2006. Even though values were coming down, this is a very forward-looking index. So even though things go from 90 to 50, that's not going to be felt by the general public or in prices for 3 to 6 months, or even a little, possibly even longer. So I want to go back and look at what happened in 2000, the most recent cycle, when the run-up after 2005. So that you look at, things start getting bad in 2008, and when was the actual bottom? When did prices actually start coming back up? You got to go, it was 2010, and then 11, it just starts going, right after, here's green's 2010, and then pink's 2011 here. And so, and then we had just this great run forever, and then COVID happens. We were kind of on this pretty, the market's relatively normal. COVID happens, it gets weird for a minute, and then we went in Arizona, the highest score you've ever seen of 520. That's when you'd have properties littered with 80 offers, and it was just the insanity. And so you go, look, all right, well, what was happening? 2023, we were kind of getting to this downtrend here. It looked like it get a little weird. And now, they lower interest rates. Now we're steadily going, we're going up. So our market has more strength in it. And so you need to understand, you're going to, like, even in the good years that were more normal, you could see that the market's going to have its natural ebbs and flows. So I said, if you're not going to own it 5 years, you could get caught on the wrong end of that cycle, right? Second question I asked her was like, what is your payment going to be if you can't refinance? Let's just pretend the payment today is the one you've got to have forever. Like that rates don't come down in the next 2 or 3 years. And so I said, go run your payment. And then I want you to see how much more is that than your current rent? Like, what's the delta between this new payment? Is it, because there's the house that we think we, will be willing to accept, that there's the house we're really going to buy. So I want you to take the house that you're actually going to buy, run that payment, and see if that's a $700 or $800 difference. Because in most cases, when you think about it, right? Let's run some math here. So Cole, how do I show this 10BII calculator? Do I have the same?
Go application.
What do you mean application?
Share screen.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
There you go, Cole. You didn't even tell me anything. I was flying solo right there.
Great point.
Cole, that was incredible. But you didn't tell me what to do there. So, so then let's go run some math. So like in Arizona, I'm thinking, it is hard to find something that you're going to want for under $550,000 today. Let's just do a 6.5% interest rate. I'll use that. So you got, and let's just assume on 550, we'll put 10% down. So we'll do a loan amount of 500, which. Let's not do that, Cole. Let's do 5%.
Even better.
525, roughly. All right, we'll go there. That'll make, all right. But so look, that's principal and interest only payment. So $3,318 plus tax and insurance, you're $3,600. So my thought would be, if I'm currently likely paying $2,000 or less than rent, why would I want to increase my housing cost by $1,600 if I don't know that I'll be there for more than 5 years? That's hard for me to wrap my head around. Now, what would I do if rates come down? Yeah, I understand house prices go up. I'm just curious. Even that, right? That's at 5.5%. It's too much. And I think, Cole, when you first started around this conversation, you want to go buy a home, and I'm like, what's the payment going to be? Even if you get something, let's say you knock the price down. Let's get it down to $450 at 6.5. I mean, that's as good of a house as you could get today, right, Cole? Would be a $500,000 house, or 480, you got a deal of sorts.
Insurance and-
But this is PI. Yeah, you got tax and insurance. So you're talking over $300. Best case scenario, $300 That's in Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know. If I was in my early 20s, would I want to have a $3,300 payment? My answer would be no. What would I be doing? If I would be renting a 2-bedroom apartment and having someone live in the other one, and I'd get it for $1,800, and I'd be all in for $900, and I would be throwing all of my money into my own education to drive up my income. That's exactly what I did, right? So I didn't saddle myself down with some insane payment in my 20s. And so I love your thoughts. Do you agree with what I just said? If you're on Instagram, type in the comments, throw in the comments here on YouTube, and I'd love to see it. Do you agree? What are you saying if you're 20, if you're talking to a 24-year-old, what would be your criteria that they should buy a home in 2024? What would drive that? And in any other comments, you can throw those out there. It does not have to be about, it absolutely doesn't have to be about that or my incredible math skills that were so on demand right there, Cole. While that's happening, I'm going to go, if you look at, let's just see, I'm going to start more, Cole. I'm going to start here. I kind of back up my argument, Cole. There we go. So I'm going to go through, let's just look at in today if I was going to buy a home down in Gilbert Town near here, my office a little north of here. Let's say I want to get a house. Cool, I think a minimum 3-bedroom. I'm not going to try to do a lot more. I'm just looking for a house. Let's go the lowest possible price today. And so you've got that's sold, but that, I know kind of where that area. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to do a skip. Is this Old Town Gilbert, Cole, and the weird funky stuff that's 1,000 years old? I think the answer to that is overwhelmingly yes. This is a real treat here, man. $355. These things were selling for man, you could have picked this up for
Look what it could be, though.
60 grand. Yeah. Think of the possibilities. I mean, you take this, you dump $250,000 in it, you'll love it.
That's an Airbnb.
Then you turn an Airbnb, make it up in volume if you think about that. Think about the opportunity. $399 for a new build, it's not real. Oh, that's some marketing. All right, so you're really, 400, and look, Cole, I bet you're fighting 3,000 square foot lot. That's tough. I mean, that's even smaller than a micro lot, Cole. I mean, the house footprint, that means the whole rest of the lot. You got 1,500 square feet in the front and rear and all the driveway. It's not going to feel big, Cole. Look at this, 429. So let's do the best case scenario, Cole. Let's say you bought this thing right here. Power lines and all, but look at this little. You see the power line? But here's the thing. Here's the thing you're not thinking about, Cole. When the power goes out and they turn it back on, who's going to get it first?
Boom.
Maybe it's, you know what? You put solar on it. Whew.
Connected to the line.
Connection. Maybe you sell the power back quicker. Maybe they buy it at a premium. Anything's possible. $35 a month HOA. So all right, so you buy this, so you get a loan amount of $400,000. Let me go back to my calculator. If we get a $400,000 loan amount, Cole, you end up $2,500, $2,528. So you'd be just shy $3,000, $2,800. We'll call this would be $2,850. I happen to know, so I'll call this out. This house would rent. You could rent this all day long for $1,700. So you're saying higher? No way.
Way higher.
You think the rent's gonna be way higher for
Look
this?
up comps. Look up some rental comps.
Oh boy. Well,
Take your guesses in the chat.
I already have a guess. I gave it.
$2,450.
Wow. There's no way. If that's 20, I own a lot. Then I'm under renting. I got to evict all my. You know what? Based on this, I'm evicting every tenant I have. You know how many tenants I have that are paying $2,450, Cole? Not that many. I only have one. I mean, not here.
That one's close to mine. Annis Gilbert on the Mesa.
Hold on, I'm trying to get the rent. I'm not. Hang on. I may have to go to my normal. Okay, property type.
Ooh, we got Sabrina said $2,000 2000.
Hold on, Sabrina's coming. Okay, I like. Let's see.
Team 2000.
Okay, I'm trying to 3-bed. Let's get to find something. We got to do kind of the low price, like similar kind of game here. Hold on, where's one like? Wow, I think this is our best comp at 2. That's it. This is not as good as that. I'm gonna call it. I think your 2450 is a little overzealous, Cole. There's 1,000 options between. But I do think my 1795. I could be. I think you're in the. Now we got to go back to our other.
2195.
We got this guy here. Oh, all right. But this guy. Keep in mind we did see the power lines. Inside's very nice. All right, but all right. So we'll go with your. Let's just say it is 2100. Okay. We agree that for 2100 we could rent that 1,000 times over. All right. So your payment though is 2850. Now let's talk about the difference in owning a home and renting one. So when the AC breaks at your house, yes, you could have a home warranty or whatever, but there are things that are going to happen at your property that will cause your repairs to be more. So over the course of a year, I'm going to call that $400 a month. You got an $800 delta in payments, so $1,200 times 12, $14,440. Cole, you've got the property has to appreciate at $14,400 to offset the additional cost of ownership. Let's divide that by our purchase price. What is home? What's the rate of appreciation that has to occur here? For all my math friends at home online, let's see if I can do this really quickly. We need 3.6% appreciation per year to offset the difference in overhead. And that's actually, over the long term, very, very real. So that does change things. I still think if you're not going to own it over 5 years, we're still back to the 5-year part. But that's interesting. Now that's Arizona. Let's now try. I'm gonna do. It'll be more shocking to do Austin or Alabama first.
Ooh, Alabama.
So okay. Well, the first thing I've got to do in Alabama is do what I just showed Cole when we're prepping. I'll be honest. I do get excited. I want to show. All right, question in the chat. I'm so excited to show the. What about the increase in equity? Is that the one? That's right. So the appreciation as long as you're 3 point. Are you saying equity? I'm guessing it's principal. If you're talking equity, principal pay down, or is it increase in appreciation? It would need to appreciate at 3.6% in the math I gave to offset it. Yes, you are getting principal pay down to your point. So there are positives of we're getting a principal pay down I actually can tell you the first month. Let's just see the first 5 by year 3 what we're paying down because I can do my fancy amortization schedule, Cole. Maybe I show that. Hold on, Cole. This is where the machine breaks right here. Don't you panic, Cole. Don't. People, you start freaking out all the time. All right, so if we're paying that payment, let's see kind of what are we getting there. This is a standard, it's called a 10BII calculator. You can get the app for your phone. This is the app for Mac. This is the most used app on my phone because I'm just running different equations and rates of return on different investments and stuff all day long. And it looks like it's really complicated. I had no clue how to use it. I read a whole book on it. I only need to learn 4 numbers. And so N is just the number of payments. I/Y/R is the interest rate you're charging, or it could be the rate of return you're getting. PV is the loan or the amount you want to calculate. In most of ours, it's going to be present value. It's going to be the loan amount that you're running the case on. You plug in any 3 numbers and you can solve for the 4th. So like the payment here, and payment's always done as a negative number to make the formulas work on the back end. So this payment is $25.28 per month, which is principal and interest. If I click the little yellow button and that, are you seeing amortization schedule, Cole? No, so now I created a new window. There's like a little pop-up. How do I do that? Streamers. Okay. But then does that kill that? I don't know how to make that. Anyway, well, really, it makes another pop-up, so it went away. But so on year 4, you've paid down original loan amount of $400. By the 48th month, you've paid it down to $380. So you got $20,000 initial principal pay down. So all those things are true. I still think when you go to sell it, you're going to give up, if you figure your total cost to sell a home are going to be around 8%. It's going to cost you, what is it, $32,000 to sell it, commissions and all that. So again, make an informed decision. It could be different for folks. My advice to her was, you got to be in there 5 years. You got to be there 5 years plus. Absolutely have to be there. All right, so now I want to go to my Huntsville. I've tried to sell my wife 1,000 times, Cole, to move to Huntsville, and I'm about to show you why that is. I want to go here, right? No, right there. And I want to sort by price. And I just want to show you what you get for $2.3 million. Cole, can I make this bigger? There we go. I mean, this is good. 2.3. This would get you a lot in Paradise Valley, albeit a kind of nice lot. This one's good. I got to find the other one from before. It was better. Here's 13,000 square feet for 3.1. Up on a hill, Cole. You're looking down on other people from up there, both figuratively and literally. On a golf course, gosh, on a hill with the view. Little dated. I mean, little dated, but you have an elevator, so who cares? I mean, if you have an elevator, I think everybody's gonna be able to look past the little bit of datedness. But what do you get in 13,000 square feet? I mean, it's not a new property. You got to get movie theater.
Get a content room.
You're gonna get a media station. Are you gonna get? I mean, do we say bowling alley? I wouldn't have said elevator. Okay, we got like kind of a dance area.
Ooh.
They do a lot of dancing, Cole. That's just where we're gonna have coffee in the morning sometimes out there. Is that a second kitchen? Hold on, wasn't there a kitchen up here? Am I losing my mind? Yeah. Yep. I knew it, Cole. I knew you were gonna try to call. That's the kitchen. Cole, where's the second? It must be in the little. There's a little. I didn't see a guest casita of sorts. Oh, that's downstairs. Anyway, Cole, this wasn't relevant to what we were doing, but it sure was fun. All right, hold on. Let me get my Alabama. So if I was 24 in Huntsville, let's see if the same logic applies. So here are the houses. We'll go single family, 3-bed. Let's go there. Let's sort by low. What's my best case scenario in Huntsville? These are going to be classic Cole 35810 houses. I own about 20 houses in that zip code, but those would not be the ones we would buy, Cole, for this example, because my niece would not live there. I mean, there's no chance. We're gonna have to go up here in this one actually, Cole, the buy argument may work better in Huntsville. Let me just get to where I get to a real. Okay, I gotta go next.
So you just have to move to Huntsville.
I think bottom line, Cole, you're gonna have to work remote. I mean, I wonder if my niece wants to relocate. Have you looked at Huntsville at all? No? I've told a lot of people, I think it's the Paris of the South. I mean, I don't know how many times I'm getting real close. Oh, here we go. So 254, let's get the calculator back out, Cole.
Cole, you're sharing a wrong window.
The Huntsville thing wasn't being shared? Oh man, all right. Let me show the house we're doing here. Cole, you gotta use your words next time.
I didn't know what you're doing.
I mean, you never really know. All right, now are we on the rental houses?
Slight delay.
Or not the, yeah. Are we on the,
Slight delay.
okay. Yeah. So I went to here, Cole. I want to get to where I was. Maybe panic there. All right, so our house is this one right here. This is going to be it's going to be what they call the model. It's light and bright throughout, 1564. Shows like a model, comes backsplash ready. Okay. This might shock you, Cole. Do you know, would it catch you off guard to tell you that I've installed this particular backsplash? When I say thousands of feet of backsplash, would that impress you, Cole? Would that impress you that more, or me having a Lamborghini? What would impress you more?
God, if you told me you had that backsplash, I'd blow it away.
And you know it's crazy. You should be more impressed that I've installed thousands of feet of that, because I would tell you like I've done more than one flip. Like that would tell you more than one. Not at my home, Cole. I'm not putting it in my house. I'm telling you how many homes I flipped. This is a classic 2011 remodel, Cole. I can just tell you, I can tell you exactly what that is. All right, let me show the calculator. So now we got our home with that incredible backsplash. And our payment's going to be, all right, we're buying over 250. We'll do kind of 225. 1422. Tax and insurance in Alabama, you'd be 1650. Let me get a little math out. 1650. That would rent for. You could rent this house for less than 1650. I would call that right around there though, probably 1500, something like that. So this would be your now rental payment and your house payment are one and the same. So my answer might be different here.
And you're living in Huntsville.
And you're living in Huntsville, which is the Paris of the South. The other thing though is rents are like as the rents rise here, I would, if my niece asked me this math, I would actually say yes, because even if you're not there 3 or 4 years, hopefully rents have gone up a little bit and you'd come close to breaking even on an investment property that you're into pretty lean, and rents will only rise in the future, and that would be a way to go. So Huntsville, it works. I didn't think to sell her on moving to Huntsville, and in hindsight, that seems foolish. I should have showed her that. All right.
Can you do Boston? Someone said.
Can you do Boston? Lori, I will do Boston. I will. Let me do that. So Boston. If you could throw a zip code, that would be cool. Lori, Joe, if you could throw a zip code. I know it does take a sec, but let's see I will go after Boston. I may not, well, I'm going to leave condos and everything. I think I got to leave everything in this one, Cole. And I'm only going to ask for a 2, but I'll do an apples and apples comparison. Cole, you got to be true. Cole, you got to be true to who you are.
Honorable.
You can't start just switching things around all the time. Lowest price, 3-bedroom.
Screen sharing.
What's that?
No screen sharing.
I'm not screen sharing, Cole. It's a great point. I got to get a little better at that. All right. It'll take a second. It'll be on there. So I wonder I'd love to know if this is good or bad. But we're going to I went up a little, kind of about this far on both. So I'm not going to do new construction. I'm going to do a $524,000, looks like in a park, decent area. So that math, all right, is going to be, that's pretty similar to the Arizona math, though.
What does it rent for?
We got to go see what this thing rents for. So let's go to 02316. So I guess the rental rate could be radically different. Let's see, search. What do we have? What do we have, Cole? We have got to go back and forth. What was the property was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath.
1,000 square feet.
Pretty close. I mean, this thing looks similar. So now we've got 35.
Screen share change.
I'm there. So look at this guy. Right? You see 3,500? Yeah.
Perfect.
So 3,500. Let's go do that now. Let's go see. So 3,500 a month. And our payment, I won't go to my calculator here. I'll just do it. So we said we could buy that thing for.
525 listed.
Yeah. So let's just say let's do a loan amount of We get a little bit off the price. We get a loan amount of $485. I don't know the taxes in Boston. I think they're going to be higher, Cole, from the east. My guess here is taxes are going to be $300 a month. Insurance one, so I'm going to call it $3,500 a month. So you're at $3,535. It's interesting that what you're seeing is the rents are in Boston are much higher than in Phoenix on a price to rent ratio. Like our rents are much lower. I wonder if that's because we have more competition here. But yeah, you're seeing much higher and for the same price house. Now you're getting a 1,300 square foot out. The one in Arizona, we were getting something different. Bigger house, newer. Let me go back and share this. I'm gonna go back and look at a couple more.
She gave you a zip code as well.
What's the zip code?
02180.
02180. Let's see if I was in. Does the math change? Let's see. Okay, different area. Oh, now we're going up. Oh, and these are all. Why is there? I can't. Are these something? And where are these? Over here and over there. Okay. Let's see. We'll change the math. Let's go up here, Cole. If you're getting something for $695, I kind of picked the middle of the kind of eight in a million and the the 400 stuff. Or no, you see. Well, we'll go up a little. Let's do a higher one, Cole. You want to do up? Does it make sense at $899?
God, I wonder.
$899. I think that will be challenging. So when you go $899, I think we got to get that streamer. I think I can click a button and do this. I think that's where the level I'm ready to go to. $899. So let's say we get a little discount. Our loan amount's going to be, let's call it $825. $5,200. I'm going to guess you're going to be $700 a month tax and insurance on something. The taxes are going to be high there. So $6,000. So now, does a home like that, Cole, can you rent that for less than $6,000? Let's see what the rental world does in 02180. Also known as just. I was going to come with a funny name. Everybody's got like the magic zip code. I've already used that one. Cool. I used that one. All right, 3. So you're kind of in the Phoenix situation. Looks like there's a lot of options in the 3,000, even 4,000 range. There'll be much less. So if you've got to go to the $899 Cole, that's where it really starts getting tricky. So you'd have to put. Now, what's on the other side of it? We finance this with super high leverage. Put 5% down. If you're buying it and putting 20% down, let's see what that loan amount is. Let's say you're $899. $899, you get it for $850. You put 20% down, $680,000. $4,298. Now you're around $5,000. It's not bad. It's kind of like the errors. This would be very similar in that the $1,000 difference. You're going to pay $1,000 more a month, roughly. Does that make sense to you? Cole, did I miss any comments in the chat before we?
Yeah, a good amount.
Okay, let me go. Oh, okay. All right. Thanks. Borrow more from a parent, bigger down payment. If the buyer qualifies, remain buying and pare down their lifestyle. I agree. I think that if you definitely need to, I agree that you should pare down your lifestyle. I think the bigger down payment's going to be the key. I really, if it's possible, tell people you put 20% down. I just hate things that cost people money that have no value. And that's all PMI is, right? Private mortgage insurance is a tax because you did not put 20% down. So if you put 3.5% or 5% down, you've always got PMI. It never goes away now. When I first got into real estate, it fell off at a certain point. Now, whenever the property appreciated by 20%, now it doesn't. So I always think if you can, saving up and putting the 20% down makes it totally different, especially if you're converting it to a rental property. And especially, think about the people that didn't take their PMI off, that had 3.5%, 4% loans, Cole. That's going to be on there forever. Their argument was, I'll just refi it later when it gets up. Well, now it didn't, and you're never going to want to get rid of your 3% interest rate. And that sucks, Cole. You know what it does? It sucks. What's the number one way to generate leads in real estate? I'm guessing that's coming from the Instagram. I always start with prospecting. My answer is always going to be pick up the phone and call the people that already know you, right? And your phone has got everyone's phone today. You should go in there and do a little check and see how many phone numbers you actually have in your phone. And what have you just picked up and called those people? If you called every one of them, I guarantee you've got sales just sitting in your phone. So I would start prospecting the people I knew. Then I would go scrub lists against the do not call list. I would go find where all the investors were buying property. And I would go call every homeowner in there after I'd scrub my list against the do not call list and say, do you want to sell your property? I know a group of investors who want to buy one additional home for cash. I would get that lead. If I did get them to sign a contract, I could call all of the people that had projects in that exact neighborhood and call them up and say, hey, I've got a home that's just like the one you already bought. Do you want to do 2 projects here? And they would say yes, and I would sell them the deal. If I couldn't get the price right, I would take that deal or that lead, I'd push it over to my retail business, and I'd list that house and show them that the retail market can get them more money than my cash offer could. And I've been running that exact play for like a decade. I've been doing that exact same thing. And we started with prospecting, and it grew to now we're basically just mailing a postcard that says the exact same thing we were calling and saying over the phone, which is, hi, I want to buy your home for cash in the next 30 days. I'm looking for one more home in your neighborhood. I will use a Google Street View image and say, here's a picture. And it's the picture of the front of their house. And we actually mail that to them. And so you get a lot of calls. You do get a lot of FUs, Cole. I'm not going to lie to you. When you mail someone a picture of their home out in the country, like where I'm from, like, did you get up on my porch, son, and take a picture of me? What do you think you're doing? Mail me that. So you're going to get some of those. And you're like, sir, I didn't invent Google, man. It's streets. They took it on there. We use, I know the question will be, who do we use? We use REI print mail for all of our printing. I'll give you a link in the chat. Love what they do, REI print mail. Their pieces work. It's awesome. All right. How often do I analyze my rentals? Once a year, every month we're looking at the property management statements and the income and expense and just the net on all of our portfolio. But once a year I go into their values, their returns, and I actually had a really interesting experiment. At the end of 2023, I went and looked at the actual, we estimate what the repairs will be throughout the year. We estimate what vacancy will be, but at the end of the year, I wanted to see how did took my entire Alabama portfolio, took the whole portfolio, and how did it work, right? Total income in, total expenses out, all the vacancy, everything that happened. We had like 8 AC repairs. We had a couple roofs. We had a really good year for repairs, Cole. It was just a huge year. And ran it all, and I wanted to see, assuming they were all cash, because I bought these at low prices that appreciated, I wanted to see what was I actually returning, what's my ROI, my true net against today's value, and I used about 85% of today's value. And the reason I used 85% was just that I know that it needed to be conservative, right? If I'm going to vacate that property, I'm going to put repairs into it, I've got costs to sell it. So that was a conservative net number. And really all that built up equity, because it's sitting there and it's not generating me return, right? The equity overall is growing, but that money that's sitting there, it's not invested in anything. In other words, if I sold that house and put that into treasury bills or put that into hard money, now all of that equity now is earning me 12% interest or whatever. And so I analyzed my entire portfolio, assuming there was no debt on it. And the answer was, and we had some that were negative, some that were high numbers, about 5.5%. So my real estate is earning me 5.5%. Well, now I'm looking at selling some of my real estate out there and moving it to like a triple net commercial building that's at 6% here. But if I move it into a triple net commercial building, like if I own a Circle K with a 15-year lease, I actually, Cole, it'd be too hard to pull up right now. I looked at the Tesla building. It was a little out of the price range for what I'm exchanging, but Tesla has signed like a 25-year lease on a brand new building. It's like $13 million, but it looks super cool. So could you really put a price on the investment strategy if it looks cool?
No.
It worked in Airbnb.
Buy a nice car.
I'm gonna get a nice car. I'm gonna get an Airbnb. I'm never gonna do the Elon thing because it would make too much sense. But so I look at them every year, and so I think it's a good exercise to go through your rentals and see where was my biggest performer, what was my least performer, and then really just look at how's it performing, or different parts of the country or different assets types that you have performing differently, and really just ask yourself, is this the highest and best use for this investment? What kind of calculator are you using? I was using the 10BII financial calculator. Yeah, that's one of the more used apps on my phone. Lori loves the $2.3 million property. If you move to Huntsville, in most parts of the country, you're going to live in a house that's 5 times nicer than the one you live in now. Yeah, you can go and get the mailing system we use. They'll show you the exact mailings. We mail 6 pieces to every person over like about 6 months. They're going to get a mailing from us every 3 to 4 weeks. You can see our exact pieces if you go to the Magic Mailer. That takes you right to who we're using. And now my friend the bird, I'm not going to mute it like I did last time. I've had this, I'm in this commercial building that we bought, and we've never had an issue in it for a decade. And now this bird flies in every day and just taps on the window. And it doesn't sound like it would annoy you, but after hour 3, Cole, it does start to get to you. Okay, I'm just be honest. Like, you think it's not going to get to you? I don't care how strong your mind is. It 100% gets you. All right, that was all the comments. Anything else if you've got a question, type it because we're going to head out here in a sec.
What's the biggest opportunity for investors this year?
What is the biggest opportunity for investors this year? I would go with biggest opportunity. I'm trying to think. I love debt. I don't want to give my standard answer, which is I put always the first place I look to put my money is hard money because they're 6 months note. They're 6 month notes. The yield is high. It makes a ton of sense. I would say though, I think there's a play in commercial. I think there's some really good, like I would stay out of office and all that, but I like some triple net commercial. I think you're seeing, I've seen deals get better where they seem like they were priced just totally stupid before. On the business side of things, it's a good question. I like buying debt, so buying other people's debt, third-party debt. We're doing some investing in other companies is one of the things that we're looking at. Can we go help make a capital investment and allow that company to put that in marketing and then use our expertise on the sales and lead generation and business management side and partner up and help companies grow faster. So that's something we're doing. It's still hard money, Cole. Because the world changes, I'm going to go with hard money. And so if there's any other questions, I'll take those. I did want to talk about this book, but we didn't get to it. We'll get to it next live stream, Cole. Next live stream, we're going to talk about buy this, not that. How to actually know, Cole, next Tuesday, 4 o'clock. How do you know what your net worth is even supposed to be? He gives you exact formula. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but we're going to discuss it and see if you guys agree with it.
Unless you're done.
What's that?
Unless you're done.
Oh, I'm not done, Cole. You don't have to yell at me like I'm a terrible employee, Cole. You have to talk to me like that. It's not a great leadership quality, Cole. Cost of those houses do not go for rent. The 2 or 3 families will be okay. Yep. I would be curious, Lori Jo, what's the cap rate? What kind of cap? Like, so if I went and bought a 2 or 3 family and all cash, what would be the net return in the year? I'm curious. I'd be curious where that's at in your market. What's the minimum amount you need to make a hard money loan? I would say one loan in your market. The average sales price in Phoenix, Arizona is about $500,000, which you saw there. My average loan amount's probably today, when I started, is about $150,000. Today, it's probably $250,000. So my loans aren't anywhere near the average sales price. So you need enough to do one loan in your market. It's been the best business I've ever had. But next week, I want to talk about buy this, not that. It gives a formula for how much you should spend on your primary residence. There's how much you should spend on a car. So we'll see if you agree. The car one's almost impossible. Literally no one can do it. But we'll talk about it next week. See you guys. Thanks for hanging out. Come check out the Be Wealthy live stream next Tuesday, 4 o'clock. We'll see you there.